Welcome to Planning Ahead with CMS. Biodiversity net gain is here to stay. Marine net gain is now being proposed, expanding the concept, but it's still in its very early phases. Could it have some unintended consequences? In this episode, we'll consider some of the challenges of the units and credits system and the potential consequences for biodiversity net gain for development. So what are these challenges? We introduced the concept of units and credits in episode 2. Recent studies have shown that much more biodiversity offsetting is being done on-site than was expected by DEFRA. Over 90% of the units being delivered are being delivered within the envelope of the development. This has led to disjointed areas of habitat being developed in patches, without any consistency in the area administered by the local authority. This is much worse for the environment than having joined up wildlife corridors. Also, there are cost implications. The costs of achieving biodiversity net gain need to be absorbed by developers or passed on to their customers. There will be additional costs in the planning process by getting the opinions of independent experts at different periods during the development process, for example, before they start assessing the baseline, and then when the development is complete, looking at the consequences. More biodiverse sites may decrease in value because they will require more to be done to meet the BNG requirements, and the cost of development itself will potentially increase to ensure that adherence to the targets are continued for 30 years. This could also result in delays at the planning stage while the developer negotiates with the local planning authority what it's going to deliver. This will especially be the case where gain is being delivered off-site because it might be difficult to secure sites, and the associated costs of maintaining these sites long-term will need to be borne by the developer. This could result in development becoming more common on sites that have a lower inherent biodiversity value. This will affect the market for different types of land and it will become more ecologically focused. Will developers become more reluctant to purchase sites that have high ecological value? Developers' costs may also be ultimately passed on to buyers and people who let property, so resulting in an increase in your house prices or your office rental. There might also be trade-offs. For example, there'll be less money for the provision of other things if money is invested in delivering ecology. This might result in less affordable housing being provided, less money available to generate nursery places, or skills and employment training for the local community. The question is, will this be politically acceptable? Is it okay to reduce the provision of affordable housing to enable habitats to survive and thrive? It could also ultimately reduce overall development because development as a whole will be less financially attractive than it was before biodiversity net gain was introduced. Please continue to tune in to further episodes of Planning Ahead with CMS.